Hello, I'm Rixie. I've got a fun one for you today. I had the chance to sit and talk with Julius from Sir Julius Cosplay. He's a cosplayer from the New York area who's been cosplaying for over 12 years. He's got nearly 70,000 followers on TikTok and over 12,000 on Instagram, and he was just a lot of fun to hang out with. And that's coming up on Collector's Maze. Julius, man, thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk to me this evening. I understand you got a lot going on, and you've got something coming up tomorrow, right? I mean, you're getting ready to head out
Yeah, it's
to.
Anime NYC. Today is actually, I think, the second day. So I
Oh,
didn't go yesterday. I didn't go today. I'm just going tomorrow.
so you're East Coast, right? I mean, where are you at?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so and I'm here in the Midwest, so long ways apart, long ways apart. So Anime NYC, cool. We'll switch back and come over to that a little bit here in a minute because I want to hear
Okay.
all about that and what's going on there. But I guess to start out, I mean, how's the day going? How's your day treating you?
Today's been good.
Yeah.
I actually spent most of my morning working on stuff for tomorrow.
So what are you working on right now?
Yeah, huh? So I just finished this thing I just finished. So yeah.
Okay, well, tell me what that is. I mean, I don't know that
Pardon?
I don't recognize that. What I mean, what is that?
Yeah, this is the Kinto from Jujutsu Kaisen for Nanami.
Okay, I am
So
I
I
am.
actually made this a couple days ago. And yes, this morning I was just, putting up the finishing touches on it. That's pretty much it.
It looks great. I mean, it looks like a is that at a bandaged wrapped meat cleaver almost? Is that what that is?
Basically, that's basically what it is.
So that's from an anime character, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting more into the world of anime. I love, I watched My Hero Academia. That's as far as I've gotten. I know everyone's probably like, yeah,
That's a good one to
that's
start
a good
with.
one to start with. Okay, so where do I go next then?
I mean, like, are you up to date with it?
Not 100%. Like I said, I've started. I'm probably partway through what the first season. So I'm making my way through it. Not quickly, but I
All
won't say
right. So
I've binged it.
I'm gonna give you my personal number one.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's a good one.
Full Metal Alchemist Brother. Now is that now I've heard that you do you want the is that Japanese or English? Which are
The
they?
English dub is fine. The
The
English
English
dub is
dub is
pretty
fine.
good.
Okay.
English
I've
dub is pretty good. I'm not. You got a lot of people where they're strictly dub or strictly sub.
mm-hmm.
To me, it just depends on how it flows. You know what I mean? There
Mm-hmm.
are plenty of animes they sound great in dub. There are plenty of animes they sound okay in sub. So
Okay.
it's preference. I'm not strictly like stick with one thing at all. Like it just depends on your preference. That's all.
Okay. And for those who aren't aware, I mean, most anime was originally recorded, the vocals were in Japanese, is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And then
Yes.
so they have dubbed over English, speaking voices for the American and the English speaking market, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and there's kind of two groups, either you want the original or nothing to do with the English dub, or you're okay with the English dub. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, cool. I'm learning. Like I said, I'm learning, so it's a lot. So cosplay. I mean, that's your thing, right? I mean, you've been cosplaying for how long?
That is
How
my
long
thing.
now? I
As
mean,
you
what?
see, I got all types of stuff.
Well, I love. I definitely see the Mando. I see the Power Rangers. I vaguely the red face guys. Where are
See,
they
this is
from?
a Red Hood.
Red Hood. Okay.
Yeah. This is actually one of the first ones I ever made.
Okay. That's where we're gonna start. What's your first? And that's a great first, man.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones I ever made. I mean, like I've been cosplaying for 12 years,
Okay.
but I just started getting into 3D printing 3 years ago.
Hmm.
Before that, I was strictly EVA foam and peppercore and things like that. So I just started printing 3 years ago, and
Uh
this
huh.
was my first project that I've ever done on 3D printing.
Now, do you feel 3D printing versus EVA foam? I mean, I hear it both ways, and I've done a little of both. I mean, I do I 3D print, and finishing 3D print. Obviously, there's a lot more involved. I mean,
That's the thing.
sanding, right?
The thing about 3D printing is like I love EVA foam. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
started originally. I started with peppercore, then I moved on to EVA foam. EVA foam is great. I'm like there are techniques. There's EVA foam is just as good as 3D printing when it comes if you really want to get into
Mm-hmm.
detail and molding it and shaping it. There's EVA foam, there's foam mats, there's foam clay
Okay,
that
yeah.
you can work with. So like when people say which one or the other, I'm just like I combine them both for just as benefits as possible. It's just that right now, with me being a father and a husband, I
Mm,
don't have
time,
the
yeah.
time to sit and cut out and glue and glue and glue together. And then there's another process of applying the plasti dip and then letting that dry and things. So 3D printing, it's a longer process because you have to sit there and wait. Like I have something printing right now, and
Hmm.
you got to wait for it. But
You don't have to be there
I can,
doing it.
yeah. You remember the old infomercials for that rotisserie machine?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
set it and
Oh,
forget it.
oh, what? Yeah, 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 yeah. Is that the
Is that?
Ronco?
I think so.
The Ronco. Yeah, I know the one you're talking
So
about.
it was like set it and forget it. So that's what happens. Like you get all your settings correct, you press go, and then you technically you want to
Yeah.
monitor it, but yeah, set it and forget it. So I can move on to something else. And then while that's going, I can work on something that's EVA foam or have another printer going or work on a project, paint, sand, finish, whatever. But it's just been a lot more convenient for me lately because I've been like have so many different avenues that I've been dealing with.
Hmm.
So like I can have that cooking, like that's what I would say. I'll have something cooking, while
Cooking
I
on the
deal with
printer.
something else.
I think we just need to call it the Ronco from now on. Cooking on the Ronco, man. Set it,
Yeah,
forget it.
set it and forget it.
Do you ever, put in the turkey and go over and find out you've got spaghetti? Right? I mean, I know that's happened to me a few times. You get over there
Oh,
and, I'd set something to print and I come back, later that evening or even, the
yeah,
next
you got
day.
spaghetti.
Yeah, and
You
it's
got
all
pasta,
over.
spaghetti. It's
Yep.
just string all up area there. And then I've had so many people um ask me for advice on 3D printing.
Hmm.
And I'm very transparent. I'll just let them know straight up. I just want you to let you guys know I'm still learning myself.
Yeah.
You know, like we're both still in the same question, learning what settings to use, and I'm experimenting. Like I'm not an expert. I'm still experimenting myself when people will approach me when it comes to tips and tricks. So I'm just like, all right, they'll ask me a question, and I'll be like, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea. Let's figure it out together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I have to believe so. The more you do it, the your failure rate goes down, right? I mean, when you first start, I mean,
Exactly.
obviously the failure rate is up there, and I'm sure you'll agree. What I found with 3D printing is you're constantly tweaking because everything. I mean, the moisture in the air makes a difference. The
Hmm.
temperature. I mean, I don't know what the temperature's like, there where you're at. I mean, we're
Right now, we're in the fall season, so right now we're looking like in the early mornings, we're
mhm,
looking like maybe 30 to 40 degrees.
yeah,
And then like mid after like early afternoon the temperature will rise to like maybe in the 50s, but it's not going past 60s right now.
yeah,
I would say give it another month, and then we're looking like strictly like 30s to 40s for the rest of the year. And then January, that's when it's really going to start going down to
down.
like the single digits. That's where double A's come in.
Yeah, do you fight? So then, and around here in the wintertime, it gets pretty dry. The air is
Mhm.
pretty dry. And now, I mean, do you notice that in your 3D printing? Because you're printing quite a bit, right? I mean, you print pretty constantly.
Yeah, well, I have my machines are in my garage,
Okay.
and my garage is also insulated. So I don't really have that issue. It does get
Mm,
cold in here,
mm-hmm.
but I'll just throw on because we have a portable heater. I'll just throw that on and it'll heat up the whole garage. So
Oh,
plus
nice.
this is also used for storage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot of open space in here. So it's still, even though it's cold, it's still a lot warmer than what it is outside. So it doesn't really affect my prints that much.
Good, good. Well, you sounds like you're set up right now. You just have a single printer? Or are you doing multiple printers?
I have three printers.
Oh, wow.
Two are functioning right now. One is kind of like chilling in the corner waiting for me to fix. I'll get to it eventually.
I've got one of those. I've got one of those.
Yeah,
It wheels up one day, would not power up anymore. And I've already replaced the power supply in it once, and I'm sure it's the board this time. It's just, one of those. There's so many other things that come
right.
first, right? All
Yep.
right. So what got you into cosplay? What made you want, to build that first mask? I mean, what did it for you?
Okay, so it was 2008.
Hmm.
So I'm aging myself.
You're
I was
still young.
um I was with a group of friends. We were just bar hopping in the city in New York, honestly. And I say I'm aging myself because 2008, I was still old enough to go into a bar.
Hey,
So
you're still young, man. Still young.
exactly.
It's all
So
about the mental age, right?
exactly.
You're as young as you
So
feel.
we were we were around the area where the Javits Center is. That's where the main New York Comic Con takes place in Anime NYC at the Jacob Javits Center Convention Center.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw all these, like, I've always been into comic books and anime all my life when I was a kid, since I was like 7, 8 years old, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I see everybody dressed up in costumes, and we're in October, like it's still October, but it's not Halloween yet. We're in like the beginning of October. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, I was like, we was all like, what's going on? Is this like a Halloween like party, like an early Halloween party? What's going on? And we asked the question. We was like, hey, what's going on? Like, we see all these people dressed up in like comic book characters. What's up? They're like, oh, there's New York Comic Con. You guys never heard of New York Comic Con? And we was all like,
What's
no.
that? Tell us of this magic.
And this was around the time where I'm not exactly sure how long it was been going on, but it wasn't as influential as it is today. So this was on the last day. It
Mm-hmm.
was usually back then Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. You know, it was the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's Thursday to Sunday. They just
Oh, they've
added that
added a
extra day.
day in it. Okay.
So it was on the last day. It was on Sunday. It was like 3 o'clock. So they said, "Hey," I'm like, "You could." They was like, "It's still got like 2 hours left. It ends at 5." It was like 3:15, 3:30 when we asked. So we was all like, "All right, well, how much is it?" And that's another thing. Back then, I think it was like $25
Oh yeah,
versus
that's
today.
true. Yeah,
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 versus today where it's like $50, $60 just to get
yeah. I
in
was
for
gonna say
one day. You
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
So we all went, and we managed to buy the tickets at the door. Something else you really can't do today.
No, you want to. Well, it takes so
You
much
can't do
time.
that today either.
No.
Can't buy tickets at the door. So we went in, and I was just amazed. Like, I was always a crafter. I was always into arts and craft. I drew a lot. I did pottery. I did sculpting. So
Okay.
when I went in there and I saw everybody in costume, I started asking questions. They were like, I was like, "What is cosplay?" Somebody explained it to me, and I was like, "Okay." Had a blast. Went home. Instantly went online. Went
Okay.
online. I booted up the old laptop. It took forever,
Yeah.
but
I've got a few of those around.
yeah. So I booted that up, and I just started researching cosplay and
Okay.
different techniques and how to make costumes. And then what came down to it was, all right, I definitely want to do this. I definitely want to come next year, and I definitely want to be in
Yeah.
cosplay. That was the goal. So with me, it's like go big or go home. So my first cosplay ever was Master Chief from Halo.
Oh yeah. Okay. I know Master
Yeah.
Chief. Master
So the
Chief.
technique I used was peppercorn. I literally taught myself on YouTube. I looked up the process,
YouTube
and
University, baby.
yeah, YouTube
YouTube
University.
University.
That's the best
So many
way.
graduates.
Yeah, and I literally from that moment, I would say I started. I think I started about a month after when we did that. So I started around November,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I finished it May, around September. So yeah, it took me roughly a year to do the whole thing,
So
and I did.
Pepakura, for those who don't know, that is kind of like, I mean, it's designed for paper, right? I mean, that's templates made for paper, paper patterns or paper masks or
Yeah, I tell
whatever you're
people all the
making
time,
out.
it's kind of like origami on a bigger
Planned
scale.
origami. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's origami on a bigger scale. The concept of using EVA foam is kind of the same. The only thing with peppercorn is you use cardstock and you cut out the pieces and you form them to make the shape that you need. And then you would apply something called it's a fiberglass resin on the inside of it, spread it out. So it's a very tedious process. It's, in my opinion, is a lot more tedious than sanding a 3D print or even
Sure.
putting together EVA foam. Way more tedious. Something I would not recommend today. There's so many other advanced, better process, better processes than Peppercore right now to use for cosplay.
Yeah. But Pepakura now, can you use the Pepakura templates on the EVA foam? I mean, you have a little bit of a difference
Yeah,
because of the
yeah, you
thickness of the
can. You
EVA
you
foam.
actually can. It's just a little bit of sizing and a little bit of adjusting. but you could use peppercore templates for EVA foam.
Okay. Okay. So you went to New York Anime. What's the exact name of that con again? It's New York
New
Anime
York
Con.
Comic Con. That's the Comic Con that got me into cosplay.
So you went there. You decided what made you choose Master Chief? I mean, you play the game. I'm assuming. Isn't there an
Well, yeah,
animated series on
back
that as
then,
well?
I was playing the game. I had just got hired to be an employee at GameStop. The
Hmm.
newest Halo was coming out around the same time, and I just liked. I looked up how to make different costumes, and what happened was that process of peppercore. Like everybody was doing Halo with that, so I was just like,
Okay.
that's a lot, but I kind of like it. It's kind of cool, so I was like, let
Yeah.
me tackle it. So yeah.
So do you is your Halo helmet behind you there anywhere? Or I was looking to see if I could see
This
it.
is
That's a different one, or that's the same one?
this is a different one. This is not the
Okay.
same one. Unfortunately, I don't have
The
that one
original.
anymore. I have
Yeah.
pictures of it still, but no, this one is printed. This one is
Oh, that looks
printed.
great. That looks
Yeah.
great. Oh, so and I love that you even on the film and the lens there, you've got the honeycomb pattern.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yep. I managed to find this off of Etsy, the honeycomb film, but
okay.
everything
So
else
it's
is
just
me.
so it's in the film. Okay.
Yeah.
That is great. I- I- um, you know, people think, you just print it and you're good to go, but I mean, there's a lot of work that
Nope.
goes into
There is a
taking a
lot of work
3D print from,
to
the
smooth
raw
out the
print.
lines, and painting is
Yeah.
a lot. It's a process.
Because if
I have a raw print somewhere. Oh yeah, right here. So people will see. So if you're familiar with Halo ODST, so I have this sitting around.
okay.
So this is a raw print. This has not been
Yeah, and
sanded.
especially if you turn it over to the bottom again, you can
Yep.
notice, yeah, see all that, that's where all that has to come off.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, this hasn't been touched at all. When I'll work on it, I don't know. But yeah, I have a lot just hanging around.
Now, do you have a big enough bed that you can print the whole helmet in one pass, or are you having to do it, cut it up, the helmet, and do it in pieces?
I'll give you an example. My bed is 300 by 300.
Okay.
So
I think that's what I've got, an Ender 3
this
and
was
a
I was able to this is another Red Hood.
okay.
So this I was able to print in one shot. I didn't have to this is all my bed is big enough to print a single one of these in one shot.
Nice.
So I just couldn't print the back. I have the back right here. So remember, I have two functioning ones. So I would have this printing on one printer, and then I'll have the back, which is this, printing on the other printer. That's it.
No waiting that way. No waiting that way. All right. So, Master Chief, Red Hood. I mean, how many characters are you up to, man? I mean, wow.
Let's see. I got Master Chief. I got Red Hood. I mean, I'm just gonna stop grabbing stuff. So let's see. I got
Yeah. I mean, have you even counted?
I got this White Ranger.
Yeah, that one's great. I love that one.
Now this visor I actually made myself. This is with clear film and then window tint.
So clear film. So just you got some clear plastic. Okay. And just added some tint on top of it. You put the tint, or you put the tint on top or underneath?
Exactly. You put the window tint on top and you just squeegee it, and then that's how you make the visor.
That looks great. I love that one.
So
you got the White Ranger.
Everybody has seen this one of me. This has been the biggest make for me this year.
Yeah, I saw that one on your Instagram. So is that that one's great. That one's beautiful. I love
a Blue Beetle. So
yeah. And you've got everything. You've got the what do we call that? The beetle. Those arms. Technically, those are arms, right?
The mandibles.
Mandibles.
I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I encourage everyone to go out to your Instagram and remind us your Instagram is Sir Julius Cosplay. Is that right?
Yep, Sir Julius Cosplay. Very simple, one word.
You've got some great videos in the Blue Beetle. That one's great. So you've got the Master Chief, the Red Hood. You've got what is that?
I have 3 different versions of Red Hood.
Okay,
so I got that. I got a plethora of Mortal Kombat characters. Mainly, I have 3 different Sub-Zeros. I have Ermac. I have Noob Saibot. What else? Oh, I have Black Panther. I have a
Oh,
Black Panther
nice.
sitting up there.
Nice.
I have another Red Hood that I'm actually working on, so that'll be my fourth version. It's right
Just
here.
just a different variation of Red Hood.
Another one I'm working on right here.
Oh, okay. That is nice. Now, is that one from a comic, a game? And where does that version or variant come from?
This is just a concept. This is a
Okay.
concept that a maker made. It's a Dark Knight FX. He makes concept helmets, so this is just a like a Japanese only version of Red Hood.
Nice. And of course, I see you have Mando up there. I mean,
Oh yeah, Mando too. I got all types.
So,
Yeah,
man, I mean, easily.
now the Mando is visorless. I have to make a visor for the Mando. So I'll explain. I did actually have a visor for this,
Mm-hmm.
but I had just made another Mandalorian helmet for somebody else, and I had ran out of tint.
Yeah. So you scavenged.
I was like, this is mine.
Yeah, I could put another one in at any time, right? And of course, any time
Yanked
will
it
come
out,
around.
put it in theirs. There you go.
It's already cut to fit. It won't be a problem.
Yep.
I've done that a couple times. What? How many? And here's the other crime: the temp. I'm just going to temp it in with duct tape, and that duct tape is still there. I've
Uh-huh.
got
Oh yeah. Yep.
I've got a couple of those on my. I've got so this is one of mine. This is my Jawa. That was
Nice.
my second build. Um, and then I've got a Jedi, but I've got a stormtrooper over here in tubs, and that one I've got a couple. I made a pouch. Whoa, my microphone in the helmet. I'm like, I'll make a really cool holder for it. I just stuck it in there with duct tape, and that
Hmm.
it's been like that for
Listen,
3-4
it's
years
the
now.
inside. Nobody's gonna see it.
Well,
Let me see. I, look at this.
yeah, yeah.
Let me see. Is this working?
It's all
Yeah, there we
it's
go.
more,
The light's on.
to me. It's about serviceability, and because the wires. I went my first Jawa mask. I went crazy and put all kind. I put a switch on it and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, well, that's just that much more to go wrong. And now it's just the battery connection is the on-off switch. I just try to keep it as simple as possible on the electronics, so that's much less to go
Hmm.
wrong. Much less to go
That's
wrong.
always the goal.
Yeah, because it always happens. If it can happen, it will happen at a con at the worst time, right? I mean, anything that's going to go
Always,
wrong.
always.
What So what's been your big, snafu at a con that you've had, or have you had one?
Well, it wasn't a big snafu, but fortunately now, because cosplay has grown such a big following, whereas I would say 6, 7 years ago at cons,
Mm-hmm.
there were like when you would go as a cosplayer and
Yep.
something would happen, you were pretty much asked out. You was on your own. You had to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because there's so many different talented cosplayers and talented people, there are cosplay repair stations at cons now, you know?
That is great.
So just this past New York Comic Con, I was in Blue Beetle, and I think one of my straps that connected from my chest to the back completely snapped. Like the glue just disintegrated. And my chest started coming off. They grabbed it for me, and I was like, oh. So once that happened, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So that snapped off, and I'm trying to
What's
fix that. And then next thing you know, I think another strap on my arm came off. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I managed to waddle my way to the cosplay repair station. They got it off of me. They helped me out. They got it off of me. They put it down. I explained to them, how I strapped it, what I used, what glues I use, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right. So, and then they just helped me. They like all three. It was three of us. They just helped me put it back together right
That's
then and
great.
there on the con floor. Because they had the table set up. They had anything that you needed when it came to cosplay repairs or making things. They had. They had glue guns, hot glue, super glue, foam, scissors. If you needed something to repair your cosplay, they had it. So it took us no more than I would say 20 minutes,
Oh, nice,
maybe.
nice.
Just
I,
put
I
boom boom, got everything back on me. They helped me put it back on, and I was back on the show floor, no problem. That right there, like I think that just started. I think people just started making cosplay repair stations, like setting up at cons, roughly about 4 or 5 years ago. But I would say, like, if you wanted to go way back, that was like non-existent. So I'm like
okay.
really, really thankful. And shout out to them. They're called the Paladins of Cosplay. Award-winning cosplay group. They're the
Okay.
ones that usually set up their cosplay repair station. So shout out to Paladins of Cosplay for hooking me up and helping me out when my Blue Beetle was like falling apart on me.
The Paladins were there to rescue the day. That was perfect.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. The cosplay community is, I mean, there's very few communities like that, right? I mean, that's um, my first con. I remember it was a couple years before COVID, and just how the first time I went in a costume, just how accepting. I mean, everyone was just they're just oh man, I love what you've done. I mean, everyone's just so into it, right? I mean, and it's about you and what you've done, and it's just such a gracious and outpouring of love that it's like no other, right? I mean, at least that's been my experience in cons.
Definitely.
It's a great experience. All right, so first build you've done it looks like 20 characters. So your first was Halo. I mean, who do you have a favorite character at this point, or you just
I
kind of
have a
love them?
favorite character. It's my favorite and is one of my most recognizable characters. I would say
Mm,
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Okay.
Yeah. So I
So.
kind of like I basically embraced that character because he wasn't my first Mortal Kombat cosplay that I've done. The
Hmm.
first one I've done was Noob Saibot. But Noob Saibot is technically Sub-Zero if you get into the lore.
All right.
He's just a different version of Sub-Zero. And then when I moved on to Sub-Zero, I kind of really embraced that. And a lot of people that follow me, they embraced it and they love it. So I have about 3 versions of Sub-Zero now, and I'm working on a fourth. So yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. That now, did you expect that one to be, your favorite? I mean, did you know out of the shoot, or was that unexpected for you?
I did not expect it to be my favorite. No. He's always like Sub-Zero. I've always been a big Mortal Kombat fan.
Hmm.
So, and I'm a simple guy. When I was a kid, my favorite color was blue,
Nice, nice.
and I wanted to play as the Blue Ninja.
Blue Ninja, Blue
So
Beetle, Sub-Zero. I
yeah,
mean,
so I just grew up. I was like, it's a blue character. I'll use it.
nice, nice. Well, I mean, nothing. I mean, the color blue is great. I love it, and nothing wrong with
Yep.
that. Love it. All right, so Sub-Zero. So your build process. I mean, when you decide on a character, I mean, what does that look like? I mean, you just where do you start? How long are you pouring into it?
Well,
And
it's all visual. I have a personal rule. So cosplay, it's I always tell people cosplay anybody you want. You know, doesn't matter. My personal rule is I like to know a good 75%, if not all, about that character before I cosplay them. I don't cosplay anybody just to cosplay it for popularity.
Mhm.
You ever notice how sometimes when something is like hot right now and
Mhm.
people like get
Yeah.
into it and they cosplay it?
Sure.
Like if I'm not into it, like if I don't like the character, like
Yeah.
if I can't relate to the character, I just don't feel like doing it because
No, I get
because
that.
then
I
it's
respect
like,
that.
what are you doing it for? You know. Now for Blue Beetle, I just thought he looked cool. That's it. Like it's just to
He
me as
does look
simple as
cool.
that.
He
I just
does
thought he
look
looked
cool.
cool. That's it. I knew little about him outside of a Young Justice. That was pretty much it. The Young Justice, the TV show.
Mhm.
So when the first images came out for it, I was like, all right, okay, this looks cool. Like I didn't really think of it that like that. And then the trailers started to come out, and my thing was, I was just going to make the helmet. I always thought the helmet looked cool, you
Mhm.
know. So I was just gonna make the helmet. So I did on my TikTok. I did a joke when the trailer dropped. I did like a little funny, like it showed me buying the STL files for like the
Good.
whole armor, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna make the whole armor, and I put it up. And I was already my TikTok was already established as I like to make stuff. Like people have seen me make other things, so
Yeah.
like it wasn't a far fetched thing that I could make it, you know. So when I put that up, I I I put my phone away. I went to bed. I woke up. Next, thing you know, I'm getting like 10,000, 20,000 alerts of people
Oh, holy
commenting. They was
cow.
like, "Oh, I'm only." There's like people was commenting on my video. They'd be like, "I can't wait to see this build.
You're
This is gonna
committed
come out
now.
great." I was like, I'm following. They was like, oh my god. I was like, I just saw your profile. You make great stuff. I'm following you to follow this process. So I was just like,
Wait, so what did the wife do? That's what I want to know. When she's like, "What have you got yourself into?" Right? Was
because the
that?
thing about it is that I've done big things before. I did Master
Mhm.
Chief. That was years ago. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's quite a bit because there's a lot of armor to Master Chief, right? I mean, that's not, it's
Yeah.
not
Oh
just
yeah.
it's
Oh
not just
yeah.
a helmet. I mean, you got backpack, chest plate, arm, shoulder
Hmm.
bells, arms, biceps,
But listen,
thighs.
that was via 2009, 2010. I was 20 something years. I was like 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah.
I had no kids. And my wife at the time, we was just girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yeah.
I had a part-time job, so I had all
Yeah.
the time
You
in
had
the
all the
world,
yeah.
you know? Versus today, I was just like, oh crap. I was like,
Different
all right, so it
story,
looks like
yeah.
I'm making a Blue Beetle.
Honey, I'm gonna need another printer.
That's exactly what happened. I had one printer at the time. So I made a couple commissions. I got enough money to get a second one. And then I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right. I was like, I got as many pictures as possible. I started reading up on the lore of Blue
Hmm.
Beetle, what he's about, and he's a very interesting character. A lot of people don't know, like he's basically he is a planet destroyer.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Blue Beetle is no joke,
Ah,
honestly.
all right. Planet
Like
Destroyer.
he
I mean, so he's serious power. I mean, I kind of liken him to Spider-Man and I don't know a whole lot about him, but so he's considerably more powerful then.
Mhm.
A little more like
So then
Thanos.
I just started to make the process, and that was it. Like it took me 3 months, and here we are. I have the suit, and people loved it. I've been rocking it ever since.
Well, it looks great. I mean, the pictures and the videos, I mean, it looks amazing. Now, how many, so you got the mandibles, you got the helmet. Is there chest armor as well? I mean, what all pieces did you have to print on that? You said you got the STL
So
files.
so it's a helmet, chest, shoulders, back. Back is the big back.
It holds the
The
mandibles.
mandibles, and then you have the thigh armor, knees, shins, feet, arms, and then biceps. So yeah, it's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of pieces. I have exactly I have 5 battery packs powering it because it lights up. Oh no,
Uh,
sorry, 7. I have 7 battery packs.
that's a lot of battery. Are those all
Yeah,
rechargeable? All
yeah, all
rechargeable USB?
rechargeable. I have two LEDs that go into the mandibles because the mandibles light up. Um, the battery packs, it's 3 LEDs. There are 3 battery packs in the. Actually, it's right next to me. Let me get it out the bag. Let me
Oh,
see.
heck yeah. Let's look at that thing. I mean,
I
it's,
can
it,
show you the chest. Let's
the
see.
shots, that are on your Instagram are gorgeous. I mean, it looks amazing. I imagine that when you're wearing that, especially at a con, you probably don't get 2 steps before you have to stop for a picture.
Yep. All right.
And happily, I mean, that's the fun of
So here's the
cosplaying.
chest.
Oh, that's nice. And
Perfect example. So let's
such a
see.
great finish on that, man. The mirror finish on that is great.
Let's see if it works. See if it got some juice. I don't think I got any juice.
No juice in that battery. It's hard to keep them all
Let me see if this
charged.
one works.
It's hard to keep them all charged. So,
Here we go. This one worked.
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
you can see.
So, and then is that just a clear? Is it clear resin poured over the LEDs in there, or did
Yeah.
you?
So I printed it with clear filament. So if you can see here.
Okay, so it is printed on top.
So this is a battery pack. This is a battery pack, and this is a battery pack. So I got 3 battery packs in the chest. The chest sits here like so.
Mm-hmm.
So the red battery pack powers the chest. And then I have 2 on the sides that go into the shoulders. So that's when my shoulders light up. And then I have the same battery packs like these in my legs. And then once those light up, and then that's it. And then I have the 2 battery packs in the back that also light up. And then I
Light up the
have
mandibles. Okay.
small little tea lights that also light up the back.
Oh, that is great. Nice work
So
on the finish on that.
I'm a walking nightlight.
You're well. You're like, hey, our nightclub's a little dark. Can you come on in, light up the
Oh yeah,
dance floor
exactly.
for us?
It's
Like I
funny.
said,
I've actually this past July, I was at BlurredCon, and I didn't have the whole thing on. We went to a party, an after party for the con.
Yeah, yeah.
All I had was the back on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the back itself lights up.
Oh yeah.
So when my friends lost me in the crowd, they just looked
How,
for the back.
I was gonna say, how did they lose you with that on?
Yeah. All I did was look for
He's
the
the
back.
glowing one. He's the glowing one out there in the middle. That's great. That's great. So build process. Obviously, your finishing process on the 3D. I mean, what are you doing there? I mean, a little sanding, right? Filler. I mean, is it the same that? Tell us. What are you doing?
Okay, so the process is very easy. Well, no, actually, it's not easy at all. It's a long process. So what I would do is you take a piece like this,
Mm-hmm.
you start sanding. I sand with about maybe 100 grit paper, and then you go up in levels. So I personally go from 120 to 220 to 320. Sometimes, depending on the piece, I might even go up to like 500.
Oh wow.
And that's before I put filler primer.
Okay. So not many ridges left at that
So once I
point.
put the filler primer, once I put the filler primer, that's when you start putting the Bondo primer.
Yeah. And the filler primer, it comes in a can, right? I mean, and it's just a thick, it's kind of a paint, right, with primer built into it, or a thick filler built into the paint. So you can just layer that stuff up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So once you spray that, you gotta let it dry.
Yeah. Okay. So then,
I let it dry for about a day, and it's sandable also.
so filler primer, and then do you I mean, how many times the filler primer? Are you going over it multiple times with the filler primer?
It all depends on the piece. It all depends on the process, because sometimes it'll be fill, sand, fill, sand, fill, sand. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter.
Nice. How old is she? How old
I
is
have
she?
2 daughters. I have a 9 and 4. 9 and 4.
9 and 4. Oh, so that's such fun ages. Such fun ages. Kids are the best, right? Well,
Yeah, they actually help me. They actually help me out.
I was going to ask you what do they think of, dad, all decked out in cosplay? Do they enjoy
Oh,
that?
so the younger one, she's a little scared of these things. She's just now like slowly getting out of it. My
Yep.
older one, she loves it. She's like one of my helpers. Like I've even showed her the process of like sanding and doing the filler and doing the more
Oh,
sanding. I don't really let her sand much because of the fumes and
yeah, yeah.
and stuff. But she's really the older one.
She's getting into it,
She's
huh?
really into it, and if she's into it, I'm just
Yeah, heck yeah.
yeah, why not?
Man, it absorbs my I have a granddaughter, and the yellow eyes, she doesn't care for the yellow eyes. That's what she calls this guy. She's, Papa, no yellow eyes, no yellow eyes. I'm like, what? you know, and I love that one is my I didn't set out, to build a Jawa. I built someone else one. And I'm like, well, while I'm building him one, I might as well do one myself. And that is my favorite right there. I love
No,
cosplaying,
it looks good. It
I
looks
love
really good.
cosplaying in that, because you get people are either they're either scared to death, or they either love it. I mean, so I get in anime conventions, the anime crowd love it, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
I don't know if kind of little no face or whoever. I mean, I think they like the vibe that it has, and then of course everywhere else, a lot of adults they'll take a second look, and they'll. I even had someone, if I was a robot, and I'm like, no, well, I don't speak. I've got a
Like
sound
Star
glove in there.
Wars.
Yeah,
If you were here on the East Coast, we have a con coming. So Anime NYC is next week.
yeah.
And then the first week in December, we have WinterCon.
WinterCon. Oh,
Now, WinterCon is not dedicated to sci-fi,
mm-hmm.
but is a sci-fi themed con. So WinterCon, I'm talking about. Okay, so the top two cosplayers
Mm.
top two type of cosplayers you're gonna see at WinterCon, Star Wars and Star Trek.
Star Wars and Trek. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I
So
mean,
that's the top two type of cosplayers you're gonna see at WinterCon, Star Wars and Star Trek. So if you brought that over to WinterCon, oh yeah, people
yeah.
will know what that is.
That would go down. Okay. All right. Well, I may have to make a trek out to the East Coast. That's uh, I've not been that far north on the East Coast. I've been on the East Coast, but not that far north. So I need to make a
Okay.
trek up there. Now that's WinterCon. So when is that?
That's
What
the
time?
first week in December, so I think it's December 2nd
Oh, so coming
to
up
the
quick.
4th or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up quick. So the kids, one likes, one's into it, one's kind of a little apprehensive. So what does the wife think? I
She
mean,
likes it, like she likes it, but like I can't. I once I put it on, she's like, oh.
yeah. So the youngster, yeah, yeah.
The funny
How
thing
about
about it is that she knows it's me. Like she'll literally watch me take it and put it on, but it's like, no, get it away.
yeah. Well, and I find it's amazing because it almost it's kind of like a puppet and a puppeteer. You could have someone with a puppet and they just really there's something about the realism in the puppet that they just suspend the belief that there's someone next to control it. They just forget that
Yeah,
piece. And I
exactly,
think that's the same way
exactly.
with a well done costume is people really they suspend that belief and they're like wow, is that real? And it's just kind of almost
Yeah,
like
they forget that somebody's
internalize.
underneath all that.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. You'll hear. I mean, it's. I have grown adults that are scared. I did a trunk or treat. Was it last year? And I wore. His name is Tofu. I call him Tofu the Jawa. But the lady at the trunk next to me, she would not. I mean, she wouldn't look at me. She wouldn't come over there. I mean, I tried several times to go over and just interact with her, but she had nothing to do with it. But I mean, I
That's
get it.
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
And I don't, and that's what I was going to ask you. When you're in, when you're in the Blue Beetle or the Red Hood or whoever, I mean, do you stay in character the whole time, or will you break character? I mean, how do you
No,
feel
I
about
break
that?
character. I'm I'm
Okay.
I'm goofy, so I like and I give kids fist bumps, high
Yeah,
fives, and things like that. So yeah, but when I'm like doing a photo shoot or a
yeah,
video, that's when I'm like in character and whatnot. But when kids come up to me, I'm really goofy. I'm like waving high and giving them fist bumps and stuff.
great, great, yeah, yeah. Now the stormtrooper I will a little bit, but I'll usually because they'll ask me something, how long did it take you to make that armor or whatever, and it'll be like, well, all you have to do is sign up for a 6 month basic training and then serve for the rest of your life, and you can get your own. So I'll give them something like that. This guy, I
Also,
actually.
you gotta have no aim whatsoever. Also.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So you only have to hit one out of every five, and man, then you're in. If you can hit one out of every five, you're in, right? But this guy,
Exactly.
I don't break character with him, and I like that. I have a sound glove built that I built, and so I've got. There's probably they're all built into the finger. I got finger triggers, right? And on one of them, it's got a loop. So I've got probably 7 or 8 different sounds, and it's amazing how much interaction I can do with that few of sounds. And I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that interaction, and I
Because
love
Jawas they make that kind of like
yeah, 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 all that stuff. The Utini, and that's everyone wants that. I'll be walking down an aisle, and you'll hear the word, you hear someone yell Utini, and then I'll, immediately right back, and I love that.
Oh
Yeah,
no, that's
the Tuscan Raiders. Yeah,
the Tuscan Raiders. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
the Tuscans. Yeah, yeah. But I love cosplay. So, now we talked about the girls. As the wife, what does she think about cosplay? Does she cosplay?
Oh, she
Yours
doesn't cosplay at all. She's
doesn't
not.
cosplay.
She's into it. Like she supports. She's
Yeah.
into it. She helps me out, and stuff like that. Like she'll like I'll come with two cans of paint, and I'll be like, which shade of red should I use? And
Which
she'd be
one
like,
fits
that one.
better? Okay.
That's the most. That's the most.
I think our wives are about the same. Mine's like she
Yeah.
definitely supports it. She's like, and I've gotten her to a couple cons, but we've got a big one here called Planet Comic Con in Kansas City, and it draws between right around 70,000 usually over 3 days. So it's
Yeah.
pretty packed, and that's was a little bit of an overload, and even for me at times. But she's very supportive, so great. All right, so you mentioned the pictures. How much time and how important is nailing that pose? I mean, and how many
Oh,
poses do
like
you like?
like posing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So so what I like I just go straight to I would go straight to Google like Google
Mm-hmm.
Pictures, and I just Google certain poses. I like Blue Beetle poses, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
read the comics or look at different poses online of different comic panels. Once again, I like to read up on the character that I'm cosplaying. So if they're from a show, I'll watch the anime or I'll watch the show that they're from. I'll read a couple of comic books. So
Hmm.
I kind of like try to visualize what what their poses or their fighting styles or whatever it is in the
Oh,
comics, and I try to just try to replicate that in my posing and in my videos. That's all.
so that's part of your research. So you've
Yeah. Yep.
along with the digging into the backstory of the character, you're also looking at their well, their fighting styles or whatever their stances for poses, because
Hmm.
that makes a difference. I mean, that's huge. When someone wants a picture, they just don't want you, they like that. I mean,
Yeah. They're just
they want Blue
standing there.
Beetle, they
Not
want
me. I go into it.
nice. Well, and I've seen a lot of those photos on your Instagram, so that's great. Tips for those those first time cosplayers. I mean, what advice do you give people who are getting started out?
Tips. Well, number one, start, because I get so many people, they'll ask me, they'll be like, oh, so I want to get into cosplaying, I just don't know where to start. That's literally 9 times out of 10 the first thing they tell me. And I just go, well, I was like, what's your favorite comic book?
Yes.
And they go, what's your favorite comic book character? Who's your favorite superhero? Who's your favorite anime character? And they'll go, oh, my favorite character is Spider-Man. And I was like, there you go. Start with that. Oh, my favorite character is Darth Vader. There you go.
Yeah.
Start with that. And then I'll never forget. This actually happened a month ago, right? So a friend
Yeah.
of mine, he wants to get into cosplay once again, but he just doesn't know where to start. So I asked him, I said, what's your favorite franchise? He was like, Star Wars. And I was like, who's your favorite character in Star Wars? He was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, there you go. You start with that.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, but everybody does that. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, here's the thing. You didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You didn't do it. And that's what you want to do, right? Just start. Just do it. And
Yeah.
don't don't fixate. Another tip is don't fixate and feel like you're obligated to make your cosplay, because not everybody is creative, not everybody is crafty.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel like you're less of a cosplayer if you do not make your cosplay. Go out and buy it. I've bought cosplays. I don't make everything. I'm very limited. Like I don't know how to sew. My thing is armor with EVA foam and 3D printing. Like, so if you ever see me in like a cosplay that's clothing, I didn't make that. I bought it. There's no problem with that, you know. And then you start developing if you want to get into crafting. Go online, YouTube University. That's the best
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Alumni
Just
right here.
learn and
Alumni.
yourself, and then stick with it. Consistency. Like if you really want to get into this and just stick with it, you're gonna mess up. There's gonna be some things where you're not gonna get it right the first time or the second time or the third time or the fourth time.
Yeah.
The goal is to just keep going. Just going because you want to do it and you love it and you want to get into it. Simple. That's it.
I
And
love
don't
it.
listen to anybody. Don't listen to any negativity. You do it because you want to do it for yourself.
Well, I found, and I'm sure there are some, people that are judgmental, but for the most part, everything that I've found, I've not found hardly anybody that, I mean, everyone's supportive, no matter what stage you're at in your cosplay. I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
obviously, developing different skills takes time, and you got to start somewhere on those if you're doing it yourself, and then finding the people to do things for you. I mean, before you really get out in the community and start learning where to get things. I mean, I had some local people help me build a few things or make a few pieces. I sew a little, but not a lot. My first your friend Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, I started with a Jedi. I mean, my
Yeah.
first build was the Clone Wars helmet, right? That he wore,
Nice.
and
Nice.
this guy actually started as one of these. These are the old the ones that
That's
Hasbro
nice.
sold as a toy, right? This is the because you've got this big wide gap here. It's got there's the buttons on the side that
Uh-huh.
make the noise.
Nice.
So that's what this guy started as. So there's ways to get in it, I think. Um, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, yeah, I mean, he's got so many looks though. So I mean, yeah, someone may have done it, but like you said, you haven't done it, and there's always different.
Exactly. Like that's it.
My Jedi is styled after Obi-Wan Kenobi, but not necessarily Obi-Wan Kenobi. I always tell people, because they'll call me Obi-Wan Kenobi every now and then. Well, I'm not Obi-Wan, but I know him, kind of thing. So And I like to keep it, you
What's
know.
funny is I have yet to do a Star Wars character, and the Star Wars. Because remember,
Oh.
my thing is helmets. I'm into helmets. I'm into making like helmets and stuff.
Hmm.
So I definitely wanted to be. So I was talking to a friend, and she's a big Star Wars cosplayer.
Okay.
She has
Okay.
like 10 different Star Wars cosplays, right? And once again, she was like, "So what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't want to be a good guy." She was like,
Okay.
"What?" I said, "I don't want to be a Jedi. I said, I want to be a Sith."
Okay. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, and then I was like, "I don't want to do Darth Vader." I was like, "Everybody's done Darth Vader. Like, I know, I just said like, oh, everybody's done it, but you haven't do it. But I
Yeah.
just don't want to do Darth Vader." So I found who I want to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I want to do,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I want to do Darth Raven.
Darth. Okay. Okay. So Darth Revan. Revan, right?
Yeah, I want to do Darth Revan, and because
Oh.
I love the way the helmet looks.
Mm-hmm.
I love the robes. I love the chest piece, the armor, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that he has two lightsabers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So
So
that is when it'll get done. I don't know.
that's on the list, right? That's on the list.
I already printed out the helmet. The helmet's sitting in the box somewhere. But
Oh.
that's definitely going to be a recent thing. Most likely next year. But that's going to be my first ever Star Wars cosplay. It's gonna be Darth Revan.
Julius, that excites me. I'm excited to hear that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
so when you get your Revan done, you know, you need to come to Kansas City. You come to Planet Comic Con, man. I'll wear my Jedi. We'll have, you know, a little some good poses. I mean, because Revan's great.
Excellent.
I love
Excellent.
Revan.
It's a
I love
deal.
Revan. I'd love to do that. And I'd love to come out and do the winter one at some time. That sounds like a blast. So it's all sci-fi in the winter. That sounds like a really good time.
Yeah, it's also it's strictly not well. I say I you can't say strictly because it's a theme. It's a theme cosplay. Like recently, somebody asked me, they was like, "Oh, what's WinterCon?" And I was like, "It's more like a sci-fi con." And then it was like, he was like, "Can I cosplay as Batman?" I was like, "Yeah, you could." I was like,
Yeah.
"You could cosplay whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know the theme of the con is more sci-fi. So you're gonna see a lot more Star Wars, Star Trek, Babylon 5. What was it?
Yeah.
Stargate
Stargate.
characters there. I know a lot of
Some
Stargate
Battlestar
robes.
Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. So I was like, that's what you're going. I was like, that's going to be the heavy, things that you're going to see there. I was like, you're not. I was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just letting you know that's that's what mostly you're going to see at that con.
No, I'm searching. So you're searching in the Star Wars realm. I'm looking for the. We've got a group here called the Justice League, and they're a charity cosplay group of superheroes. And I'm like, I need to find a superhero because I want, I want to do a superhero, but also do stuff with that group as well. So I'm in search of, who I want to do. They've got a great Batman, so I'm like, a Robin or Nightwing wouldn't be too bad. That would be
Nightwing,
kind of.
yeah. I've thought about a Nightwing. Here's the thing, when it comes to 3D printing, I have all types of files like
Mhm.
STLs and stuff. I have Nightwing mask, I have the batons. It's
Oh,
just getting to making them, you know,
yeah.
just making them like sometimes I'll make stuff randomly. Like I'll like this, like this right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is a scorpion spear. It took less than 6 hours to print. So I just printed it. That's it.
Yeah, because why
When
not?
will I work on it? I don't know.
But you have it. You have it. That's the beauty of
Exactly.
it's it's like a replicator or whatever. You could just materialize about whatever you want. I mean, there's a little time, effort, and resources involved in it, but yeah,
Exactly.
that's the beauty of 3D printing. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So so you're the con you're doing now, right? What con is that? That you're
The
so
Anime NYC.
Anime NYC, and so who are you doing tomorrow?
I am doing two characters. I'm doing Namini from Jujutsu Kaisen. This is what I showed you before. This is his little weapon.
Okay.
This is the only thing that I made for this cosplay because his cosplay it's a suit and tie.
Okay.
It's just, regular shirt, tie, pants, gentleman, like, casual. He's a businessman, so business casual.
I'm not, yeah, businessman with
So
a
that's
wrap meat cleaver.
exactly. So that's his
Serious
cosplay.
business.
And I'm doing Tengen. Tengen from Demon Slayer. So he's more like a ninja type of shinobi style. And I have the swords. I made the swords. I made the arm bracelets. If you Google him, he's very flamboyant, very stylish. So yeah, so I have all the bracelets. Let's see. I have them right here. So like for example, so like
Oh wow, those are
these go on
great.
my arms. So like he's a muscular guy like me, so they would
Oh,
go on my arms like this.
Okay.
So like that,
Well, and
like
you've got the biceps for it. Nice. I
that.
mean, yeah, you
So then so I got those, and then he has more bracelets. And the thing about it, I just made these like 2 days ago.
they look great. I mean,
Yeah.
I
So I
mean,
just made these like 2 days ago. I
I
just
mean, even
printed
when you
them.
hold up, I
They
mean,
took
you've
less
done
than
a
like 3
great
hours to
job
print.
finishing because you're not seeing any, hardly. I can't saw any layer lines. I mean, that looks great.
Yeah. Real quick sand, little quick sand job, some filler primer, some paint, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, your STLs, and for those who don't know, STLs are the files that you need to print something. So it's like the object has been converted to a file that the printer can read and interpret and then print it out. I mean, do you have a go-to for your STLs? I mean, where are you finding most
I
of your
have right
STLs?
now, yeah, I usually go to CG Trader. That was like my main thing, or
Mm,
Etsy. I get a lot of good STLs from Etsy. My Star Wars and my sci-fi STLs I get from Galactic Armory. So
yep,
my
I
ODST
know
helmet,
him.
my Halo helmet, Galactic Armory, he's a good studio that I go to. My Blue Beetle I get from DO3D. DO3D is another common website that you could get a lot of good STLs from. Yosh Studios, that's another good studio. So if it's not Etsy, it's either Galactic Armory, DO3D, or Yosh Studios.
Okay. Well, very cool. So I the gauntlets I'd gotten to go with my with this guy. I got his files, but also had him print a set as well. I think I was in a hurry or whatever. I was trying to get it done for that first year, and I didn't get. I had the helmet done. I almost had all the robes done, so they weren't as good as I would have liked them to have been. But that first time, you just got to do it. Like you said, you got to start somewhere, and it wasn't perfect, but it worked. I got out there and did it.
Yeah.
So very cool. All right, man. I love what you got going on. Where can everyone follow you? I mean, you're on Instagram, Sir Julius Cosplay. Where else you at? Is that the big spot?
Yeah, I made it extremely easy to find me. It's all
Hmm.
one word, Sir Julius Cosplay, across all platforms. YouTube, not YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, just Sir Julius Cosplay. You put that in the Google search, I will pop up.
You'll pop up. Okay. Yeah, I found you nice and easy, and a lot of great content out there. I love that. I love the content that you have out there. It's great. Great pictures, great videos. So wonderful. All right, man. Thanks a lot for tonight. It was great talking to you, and I know I'll
Thank
be
you.
talking to you soon. I can't wait to see that Revan pop up. I'm excited for that one. That's
Oh
going to
yeah,
be
oh
cool.
yeah. I can't wait for that. I'm really excited about that because that's gonna be my first Star Wars thing. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited to see you dip the toe into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, my friend. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
man, Julius is dedicated. So many costumes, and they all looked great. I really had a lot of fun talking with him, and I can't wait to see the new stuff that he comes out with. If you're not already, be sure to follow him on all the social media platforms. Just look for at Sir Julius Cosplay on any of the social media platforms. He's really got me inspired and motivated to get out there and finish a few of those costumes that I need to finish up. All right, so I hope that you'll like and subscribe to the channel because we have a lot more coming up. Thanks a lot for tuning in.